Today is May 5th, Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are on Chapter 8, Two Wives, page 111. The 12 and 12 are on Tradition 2, or as I spelled it here, Transition 2, page 133. And of course, we'll be reading the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Happy Cinco de Mayo. What a blessing it is to wake up another day sober. And I had to do my due diligence yesterday, watch some Star Wars movies last night. It was my pick. We have a tradition on Mondays, Movie Monday, and it was Daddy's pick. And the kids already knew. They knew it was going to be a Star Wars movie. But they'd not seen Rogue One yet, which is a sad movie, but a great movie. Very underrated Star Wars movie. So we watched that. And I forgot to tell y'all, once again, please humor me, but now I have all of my Star Wars books on the same shelf. And I have so many of them that I've collected over the years from yard sales and thrift stores and stuff that I have a full shelf filled with just expanded universe Star Wars books. And it kind of made me feel guilty a little bit. I'm like, I could probably sell these, but I don't want to. Anyway, with all that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book, Two Wives, we described all four of the alcoholics that wives may be married to. The heavy drinker, the person that's having a hard time stopping. The third one was probably more to the extreme of number 2. And then the fourth one almost seems hopeless. But even the hopeless one, it says right here, many of our husbands were just as far gone, yet they got well. So there can be hope for all of them. And now we're going back to husband number 1 here, talking about how we can help the heavy drinker. So we left off on page 111. The first principle of success is that you should never be angry. Even though your husband becomes unbearable and you have to leave him temporarily, you should, if you can, go without rancor. Patience and good temper are most necessary. Our next thought is that you should never tell him what he must do about his drinking. If he gets the idea that you're a nag or a killjoy, your chance of accomplishing anything may be 0. He will use that as an excuse to drink more. He will tell you that he is misunderstood. This may lead to lonely evenings for you. He may seek someone else to console him, not always another man. Be determined that your husband's drinking is not going to spoil your relations with your children or your friends. They need your companionship and help. It is possible to have a full and useful life, though your husband continues to drink. We know women who are unafraid, even happy under these conditions. Do not set your heart on reforming your husband. You may be unable to do so, no matter how hard you try. We know these suggestions are sometimes difficult to follow, but you will save many a heartbreak if you can succeed in observing them. Your husband may come to appreciate your reasonableness and patience. This may lay the groundwork for a friendly talk about his alcoholic problem. Try to have him bring up the subject himself. Be sure that you're not critical during such a discussion. Attempt instead to put yourself in his place. Let him see that you want to be helpful rather than critical. Out of the 12 and 12 are on Tradition 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. And yesterday we've been leaving off with a demonstration of this man who wants to start a new group in a new area, with the result that Middletown now has a group and he is the founder. So let's find out what happens next. 133. Being the founder, he is at first the boss. Who else could be? Very soon, though, his assumed authority to run everything begins to be shared with the first alcoholics he's helped. At this moment, the benign dictator becomes the chairman of a committee composed of his friends. These are the growing group's hierarchy of service. Self-appointed, of course, because there's no other way. In a matter of months, AA booms in Middletown. The founder and his friends channel spirituality to newcomers, hire halls, make hospital arrangements, and entreat their wives to brew gallons of coffee. Being on the human side, the founder and his friends may bask a little in the glory. They say to one another, "Perhaps it'd be a good idea if we continue to keep a firm hand on AA in this town. After all, we are experienced. Besides, look at all the good we've done these drunks. They should be grateful." True, founders and their friends are sometimes wiser and more humble than this. But more often at this stage, they are not. Growing pains now beset the group. Panhandlers panhandle. Lonely hearts pine. Problems descend like an avalanche. Still more important, murmurs are heard in the body politic, which swell into a loud cry. Do these old-timers think that they can run the group forever? Let's have an election. The founder and his friends are hurt and depressed. They rush from crisis to crisis and from member to member, pleading. But it's no use. The revolution is on. The group conscience is about to take over. "24 hours a day, May 5th. AA thought for the day. I had to show off and boast so that people would think that I amounted to something, when of course, both they and I knew that I really didn't amount to anything. I didn't fool anybody. Although I'd been sober for quite a while, the old habit of building myself up was still with me. I still have a tendency to think too well of myself and to pretend to be more than I really am. Am I always in danger of becoming conceited just because I'm sober? Meditation for the day. I cannot ascertain the spiritual with my intellect. I can only do it with my own faith and spiritual faculties. I must think of God more with my heart than my head. I can breathe in God's very spirit in the life around me. I can keep my eyes turned toward the good things in the world. I am shut up in a box of space and time, but I can open a window in that box by faith. I can empty my mind of all the limitations of material things. I can sense the eternal. Prayer for the day. I pray that whatever is good I may have. I pray that I may leave to God the choice of what good will come to me. Daily reflection, May 5th. The forest and the trees. What comes to us alone may be garbled by our own rationalization and wishful thinking. The benefit of talking to another person is that we can get his direct comment and counsel on our situation. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 60. I cannot count the times when I have been angry and frustrated and said to myself, I can't see the forest for the trees. I finally realized that what I needed when I was in such pain was someone who could guide me in separating the forest and the trees, who could suggest a better path to follow, who could assist me in putting out fires and help me avoid the rocks and pitfalls. I ask God when I am in the forest to give me the courage to call upon a member of AA. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading and some beautiful stuff. Going back to the big book real quick, as I read that page, it really does feel like, wow, we're having to wrap this alcoholic in bubble wrapping and all these things. At first reading, that's how it feels, right? But I think what I'm really trying to get out of that page is that, hey, even though the spouse that you've married might be a drunk, that doesn't have to affect your life, that you can still live your best life. Because in the end, that's all we can really control in the first place is ourselves. And I think that's the crux of it all right there. And again, it's hard to hear, that the spouse may go out and find solace in another man or woman or whatever. And yet we've been there the entire time, right? But again, that doesn't mean that we have to be miserable. That's powerful stuff right there. Thank God for Al-Anon and that support that we have these days. Back when the Big Book was written, 2 wives was probably so crucial for family members of alcoholics. But now we have fellowship and everything and support groups for anybody who's a friend or related or married to an alcoholic. It's powerful stuff, and I'm so grateful that Al-Anon exists. And I love the Courage to Change book. I definitely want to get that over the summer. And I'm thinking about maybe reading that the second half of the year to finish off the year. But then going back to the last reading, Seeing the Forest for the Trees. Anytime we may be tempted to relapse, if we will just act our way in the right thinking by just doing what our training tells us to do, call somebody or go to a meeting before we drink. Trust me, that dark cloud goes away and we can get out of those woods. Or maybe we can look around the trees and see how beautiful they are instead of, how lost we thought we were. There have been times where I came really close to a relapse. Really close. And I've called friends. Or there have been times where something was really bothering me. And I was losing sleep over it. And finally, I would have to call a friend that I trust and tell them what's going on and be honest about it. And oftentimes I would let fear paralyze me, like, oh God, if I say that part, what are they going to think of me? It was all rooted in my pride and image, right? But I have learned through experience that these fears, I can't trust them. They're false evidence appearing real. And when I finally admit whatever it is I'm struggling with, I'm very oftentimes met with gratitude, honesty, sound advice, and prayer. I keep going back to Christmas Eve of last year, and something had been bothering me, and I held back for a long time, and I finally admitted it to a friend. And once again, he showed me gratitude. He said, thank you for trusting me with this. He gave me some honesty and love. He talked about his own experiences. We prayed together. Came up with some strategies to help prevent it from happening again. So there's those indirect amends. And that little thing that I journaled that was bothering so much, after prayer and everything, I went into the backyard. It was really, really cold. And I'll never forget looking up at the sky, thanking my higher power, and burning that list and letting it go. And guess what? I haven't really thought about it since, except for when I'm talking about this. What a beautiful thing. And seeing the forest for the trees, right? Real quick. If I simply look back, in just this past year, just this past 5 months in 2026, I can see how my higher power has worked. And one of the first things I think about is reconnecting with my long lost sister, Angie. I don't want to say too much because I haven't asked her if I can share it, but we have a lot of things in common. And we share the same biological father, but I didn't know she existed until the early, I think it was like 2011. We connected on Facebook of all things, back when I used to have social media, and over time we kind of drifted apart. But as I've kind of alluded to a few times, recently we've been able to reconnect, and we're closer than we've ever been. And we're already talking about actually meeting each other in person soon, one of these days. But I look back and I just thank my higher power, because it was definitely, in my opinion, a God thing, the way we were able to reconnect. But my friends, I've rambled on enough. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect or denomination. I am just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery that loves these books. And my friend, if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.